district that I would run. And so certainly I've cast my lot, as it were, with Bell County. And I've been, 11 years here now. And so this is my home, and this is where I hope we would find the anchor for a new district. And so if Bell County is in a new and open district, I will definitely run for U.S. Congress. However, given the way this redistricting is proceeding, it looks more and more like, in addition to Williamson County being split from Bell County, other scenarios are certainly possible. They could split Williamson, or they could split Bell. And probably, given the political powers that be, they'd be more likely to split a portion of Bell off. So we could very well look at a situation where Bell County is split, and so one U.S. congressional district has the eastern half of Bell and one has the western half. I can't really get into all that second guessing, except that even the current congressman in District 31, I know he would like to see the majority of Williamson and the majority of Bell stay together and keep this in his district, and I understand that, but that's telling you right there that they could split it east-west or even north-south. They're going to need some people shaved off of Williamson County, so they might go for the southern part of Williamson County, close to Austin, and they might need a little bit more shaved off, and they might take Troy, and north of Troy and north, take that off. So if that's the case, I would have to look at what the district lines are, and if, for instance, part of Bell County is in a new and open district, I might run in that district. In addition, if, say, the majority of the current District 31, not Williamson or Bell, but if the majority of those counties, headed north all the way up to, through Hamilton and Coryell and Erath County, if those find themselves in a new and open district, given that it is a redistricting situation, I would have to consider whether or not I would run in that new consumption-based system.
Well, thank you. Getting back to this new congressional district, could you tell me what will have to happen to create a new and free congressional district in this area of the world? What will that be? What will be required?
Well, actually, the only thing that's necessary is for lines to be drawn, I think, fairly, and lines that would essentially enable people who are on the ground, people who are already participating, to compete in a fair and open kind of situation. I think that the state legislature needs to get away from anointing people in advance and essentially trying to guarantee outcomes. And this is the kind of thing that has gotten so many of the public just totally cynical about politics in general. But it really comes down to numbers, and you can draw districts many ways. But essentially, you've got something like 710,000 people maximum for a given district area. And it appears that there should be a new congressman in the Houston area, a new congressman in the Dallas area, a new congressman in the Valley, most likely. And then there should be one here in the Central Texas area. Now, the state legislature is doing due diligence, I'm sure, trying to look at where the numbers, where the increase of citizens are and how they might draw these numbers. You've had a decrease in population in some Texas counties, in the west in particular, so they're going to want to draw their districts into the east somewhat to take advantage of the increase of population in the eastern part of the state. Now in Bell County alone, we've had 30% growth in 10 years. And, of course, Williamson County has had as much, and the entire central Texas area up the I-35 corridor has seen incredible growth, and it should, on that basis, warrant a new district. So there are a lot of, I guess, perturbations that we could look at that would enable me to be a candidate. But I got to tell you, Jim, we need a leader in Congress and not just another member of the political class. We need someone to take the populist conservative message, the Tea Party message, to Washington. And I'll tell you, I was telling you just before this interview that I was doing my taxes. I had to file for an extension, and it's taken me days to get all the receipts together. We've got to get to a simple consumption-based tax code without any loopholes. And I think that we need to get away from this dead weight that is on everybody's shoulders and backs, those people who are most productive and trying to do the most and are the most meaningful to the economy, the small businesses of this country. We've got to get the government off their backs and let people pay their taxes and pay it. Let's have an honest tax for a change.
Let me ask you this. When we speak of consumption-based taxation, would that be similar to value-added taxation or sales tax-driven?
It would tend to be either a flat tax, fair tax kind of a thing. The one caution that we have when we go to, say, a value-added tax, although on balance that might be a better system, what we don't want to do is wind up having value-added tax plus the income tax. We're going to have to address that. We're either going to have to rein in the income tax and drive it down to very low levels. Unfortunately, I don't see any other way of getting rid of it per se, because it's in the constitutional amendment. Essentially, the 16th Amendment gave us the income tax, and as much as I might like to repeal that, and I would like to repeal the income tax, that would be a very hard sell, politically speaking, in getting it through the governing political class. I think that I'm really speaking in terms of fair tax and or flat tax kind of consumption-based. I'll tell you something. I understand about live and let live. I understand about the beauty and the grace, the contributions of other peoples and other culture, and I'm so grateful for my interaction with so many people of different persuasions. I'm married going on 26 years to an Asian woman, and we sponsored a young man, her biological nephew from the Philippines, and I'm all about immigration and the contributions that people of diverse backgrounds make to this country. But I'll tell you what, it took us 17 years to follow the legal process because of the category that it fell in. And just because I'm opposed to illegal aliens and the insecurity of the borders and those kinds of things does not mean that I'm not for a kind of a control board, controlled access, and a deliberate process for bringing in those, guess what, not just people who want to come here or win a lottery somewhere, but people who would be good for the United States. And that is a determination that needs to be made by Americans, nobody else.